Hello, 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 hello. Just doing a choir with my imaginary self. Um, let's see now. All right. Well, I like answering questions. I guess you can introduce yourself, whoever's there. You know. Um, see if I can set things up here. Here we go. Hello. So I've got staff. I should be meeting with next week. Hopefully he'll be able to help me budget stuff. My $600 I spend of my stimulus check, get some new stuff. A better microphone for my my phone, as well as new clothes, fedora. Yeah, fedora. Yes, there. It's gotta be rain, so I'm gonna have to pick up a poncho for when I go exercise. Got some laundry going. So where are you from, viewer? Where are you from? Where is everyone from? Germany. Yeah. Rammstein, right? Rammstein's from Germany, right? How famous is Rammstein. Yeah, how famous are they in Germany? Just out of curiosity, because we know about them here in the U.S. So, um, how famous are they in Germany? Yeah, we mentioned them a little bit in German 1 class in senior year. Yeah. Yeah, and here in the U.S., we've got people that say it's du Hobst instead of du Hast, but that's the wrong conjugation. How am I going? Um, how am I doing? I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired. Tried recording a video, venting a little, but I didn't record, unfortunately. I'm dealing with some stuff. Yeah, I have. I've been through a lot of bullying. Even as an adult. Yeah, even as an adult, I've been bullied a lot for having autism. You know, um, I worked at a Burger King, and I was bullied horrendously there because of my autism. Like I told them I'm autistic. I told them that when I was hired. I told them that continually through my workplace, through my employment, and they still bullied me. I mean, management bullied me. Managers encouraged coworkers to bully me. And it's like when you got women in their 20s and 30s encouraging teenagers to bully a disabled man for being disabled. It's like, and these are, you know, individuals in positions of authority in what's supposed to be a professional environment. You know what I mean? It really affects your outlook on things. And I'm going to therapy hopefully in a month, so hopefully she'll help me understand some things. It's it's kind of like I was taught one thing growing up, and then in the adult life, it's been something completely different. So it's like I was told something as a child, and then as an adult, I've seen firsthand the complete opposite, and now people are telling me what I've seen firsthand isn't true. It's like, okay, what do I believe? You know what I mean? Do I believe what I've seen firsthand? Oh, it's almost telling me, you know? Well, the thing is, people with autism are very, very different. Each individual with autism is incredibly different. Um, the symptoms are very different for each individual. How the autism affects each individual is very different. Our personalities are very different. We often have something called co-morbidity, which is with autism. A lot of times you get a secondary diagnosis, which often includes things like Tourette's, bipolar in my case, depression. There's another one that's common. There's just dyspronosia, which is facial blindness. There's one actually where you have a sensory disorder where you can't tell how strong you're gripping things. Some people with with this disorder, not just the autism and that disorder, but that disorder in particular, have actually shattered glasses they've held because they squeeze too hard. So that's another diagnosis. But it really you can't say one person with autism is going to be affected the same way as everyone else. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly. Um, Except for the general, it's been more stressful, but it's been stressful for everyone. So it's hard to say how it's affected everyone unless you ask a group of individuals. Um, so it's really hard to say the individual. Plus, a big thing is some people with autism like to be alone, so actually being isolated helps them. Versus some people with autism really need the social interaction, so it's worse for them. It's very it's very different for each individual, so I can't really make a blanket statement, unfortunately. I see you walking 40, yeah. Um, my Brian, I really don't know, honestly. At this point, I'm not sure. I mean, I see women that will seem to be interested in me, but then at the same time, I'm wearing a mask, and I've remembered that hey Shindig, I've remembered that women don't wear the mask basically there have been random women that have fled at the side of my face. At the same time, I remember I have lost some weight, which has affected my physical appearance. Um, there's also the factor of women have made fun of me for having autism. Women have made fun of my income. Um, Women have called me ugly. Women have made fun of my weight. Women have mocked me for having PTSD. So I honestly don't know what to think. These are things I really don't know what to think. Yeah, I've tried fasting. Um, it's hard to get in the habit of doing it, especially because I work in the morning. You really need to because when you're adjusting, you don't you're rough for a while, and yeah, I have a job that requires a lot of it requires a lot of focus. So now that things are hopefully when we start moving, things will slow down a little bit. I'll be able to fast more efficiently, more easily because I'll be able to slow up a little bit. But yeah, it's a little stressful. Hopefully, with therapy, I'll be able to cope better with stress. So yeah, I tried keto, but it just wasn't working. It was like it just wasn't working. Involved stress and stuff with work. Uh, are there any animals against depression? The only thing I can think of is it would just depend on the individual as to which anime would help them. It's kind of like it's just personal preference. It's like whatever speaks to you. It's like any kind of music. You just find an artist that speaks to you. An artist that whose music you can relate to. For me, a lot of it is Eminem because he talks about being bullied a lot. Not everything. I don't agree with a lot of things he does. Talking about being violent and stuff, but I mean he vents about being bullied, living in a toxic environment, growing up. So yeah, my father was present, but he was also abusive, and I kind of grew up avoiding him for the most part, just so I wouldn't have to deal with him being abusive. Um, I hid from him quite a bit at times. I'd actually hide from him so we wouldn't get physical. Um, but yeah, it was. I just feel like I relate that music relates to me a little bit, so that's why I listen to a lot. But yeah, it just depends on the individual. Some animes, it's just an individual. You just find one that you relate to. No, actually, unfortunately, that's the kind of anime I don't really watch. I don't really handle horror very well. It might be my PTSD, but I think it's actually very common in people with post traumatic stress disorder. We don't handle horror too well. Interesting story is for a while I thought I had gynecophobia where I was afraid of women, but it turned out I had PTSD and I didn't know. Um, actually, I may have uh, CPTSD, but I wouldn't have been diagnosed because when I was diagnosed with PTSD, the diagnosis of CPTSD was just being um, admitted into the DSM. So I would have to be reevaluated, but it wouldn't be changed if I was. So no, I haven't seen Gantz. I don't think it would do well for me. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. I'd like to try doing collabs. I'm not sure how to go about doing collabs privately. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how to do that privately. Uh, I'm on a server. I'm trying to get involved with some people to do Minecraft. Do a where we play Minecraft. Um, I see myself in the mirror. I'm thinking I should trim this up a little bit. Although it does honestly look good in my opinion. Yeah. So I've got the window open to let some fresh air in. I am probably gonna go ahead and call a hardware store, or greenhouse, local greenhouse, um, and find out if they have a mother-in-law's time plant because that's good for oxygen. Um, it actually produces oxygen at night, so that's good. Huh. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and pick up a stylus while I'm out today, so I can practice more Burmese on my phone, writing the Burmese alphabet. Um, there's a character called Na. It's hard for me to do because it's aspirated, and I have to remember which characters are aspirated through the nose and which ones are aspirated through the mouth. But um, it looks a lot like the English character C, and honestly, um, the brain kind of remembers things by uh, making correlations between what is known, or making sort of links between what is already known and what's not. So what happens a lot of times is when I try to write now, um, I will end up writing C. So it's something I really have difficulty with. But I took my own advice about learning how to remember certain bits of information by seeing the word mentally. Um, so now I'm seeing the characters and how to actually write them mentally for Burmese, and it's helping a lot. Yeah, it's yeah, Burmese is kind of difficult. I've noticed it's really it really is a matter of just figuring out your priorities, fighting off the dopamine, um, like desires, like that dopamine addiction. Um, I'm fairly decent at math. Used to be better, but that's because I was using it more. It's not that I love Burmese. It's more of my desire to help the Burmese community with interpretation services. Um, even if I'm not mature enough to be an interpreter, I could so potentially at least help with how should I put it? Lessons in English. Um, I just want to help uh, and provide interpretation in an event of emergency because we have my city actually has the highest Burmese population in the country. So we have, I mean, to give you an idea of how bad it is, I've heard that we'll have like three Burmese families going to one doctor's appointment, or not one doctor's appointment, but like they'll all be waiting in a doctor's office for one interpreter to provide services to all three families, and they have to like wait in turn. So like one Burmese family will go in with the interpreter, then they'll come out, and that interpreter will go to the next Burmese family and then come out. So it's like one interpreter is is providing services for three families. So you have like it's really it really is a lot of stress on getting a lot of just providing services to them all. And I mean, honestly, the most Burmese, because of the language barrier, um, they unfortunately live in impoverished neighborhoods and live in they have jobs that they can't really afford a lot of the time really good like services to learn English, or at least have good but good money for interpreters. So that's what I'm hoping for is just help. That's why I'm really trying to learn Burmese, just to help. It's kind of like the thing where it's like if someone else would do it, I mean, honestly, if someone else would do it, I would let them. But the thing is, it's like there aren't many people who are willing to do it. Um, from what I've seen, it's like in where I live, it's not so much that immigrants are. I mean, immigrants in general where I live. I can't say for other places in the country. Um, I honestly can't because I haven't been there. But immigrants in the city I live aren't like, from what I've seen, hated. Except for when there's frustration of of language barrier, then there's sometimes people say things out of frustration that they don't really mean, although some actually mean it. Um, there's a lot of politics involved, but some people will. It's like it's like most people aren't that welcoming, more indifferent or tolerant. It's like it's like they'll say you should learn English before you come here, but they're not really understanding that there a lot of times immigrants are trying to get out of a really horrible situation as fast as they can, and a lot of immigrants are really trying to learn English, but a lot of native speakers in the U.S. aren't really doing much to help people that are immigrants to learn English. They're not really trying to provide services or funding for services to help immigrants learn English. So, and I mean, immigrants a lot of times are trying to support themselves. So there's that. So it's like they have their own businesses, their own jobs and stuff. So it's like it'd be like someone who has to work full time, trying to go to school full time. You know what I mean? It's gonna be stressful for anyone. You know what I mean? And then you have the language barrier on top of that. It'd be incredibly stressful. So they just need a little help, at least at first, for most of them. Yeah. No, from what I understand about keto, keto makes you feel good, yes. And for some people, it really works. For me, it just wasn't. Um, I did for a while, but I'm not sure that much about how much I'd like to go into IT. I really enjoy my job, so I mean, I'd like to get IT skills, but I don't know about that. But I'm actually going to soon be working on just working for ham radio license. So I think actually my next 21-day goal will be to just make a schedule. Start off easy. Realistically, just do 4 things on my schedule because it's gonna be hard to just train myself to do. Um, Train myself to do like a complete rigid schedule throughout the day. It's not gonna work because what happens with me, um, I don't know if it's just because of my personality or if it's because of the autism, but like if one thing gets missed on the schedule, I just give up on the whole schedule. Um, Maybe it's because that's the way my mother taught me growing up. If the thing doesn't work entirely, you just give up. But I've just decided I think it'd be the best to figure out how to do a schedule. That way I can schedule things like um, laundry, clean up my apartment, things like that. Things I really have to do. I can schedule time for them at all, every day. But I'm probably gonna have to make a board over there. I've got a dry erase board. Actually, handwrite it. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. Um, it probably would work better than my phone, just because. Um, I guess some people work fine on phones. I grew up without phones, so I just would work better with a handwritten um, board. But yeah, it's a little. It really is difficult to change. I don't know if it really is difficult for someone that's autistic to change. I don't know, like if it's why it is, but I mean, it's like this transformation is, you know, like if you can think of like how hard it is to lose 100 pounds, for someone, um, like how hard it would be to lose 100 pounds for some guy in the United States, in a city that's ranked the 28th highest in obesity in the United States. How hard it be get for a guy who puts on weight, who has a family history of obesity, to lose 100 pounds. You know, um, you combine that with the fact that, yeah, really, that's only 5% of this transformation. The real, like 95% of the battle of this transformation is mental. So you think of how hard it'd be to lose 100 pounds. Like that's only 5% of what I have to do to transform. So I did. I was listening to it, but I have a really hard time finishing things I start. That's the only problem. Yeah, it is difficult. You have ups and downs. It really helps when someone reminds you you've made progress. Honestly, um, I remember David Goggins said someone you get sometimes you gotta have someone to say you're not done yet. Some people need that person to push them more, but like I said, I'm gonna be getting to therapy hopefully in a month, and that will hopefully help with changing my mental health. But yeah, a lot of what's going on in my mind is trying to figure out the difference between um, what I was taught as a kid and then what I've learned as an adult. Like it's like I've learned two completely different things, and it's like what do I believe? It's like what do I make sense of it? Because it's like I was taught one thing as a kid by word of mouth. I was taught something else completely um, antagonistic to what I was taught by word of mouth through personal experience, and now people are telling me by word of mouth something different than what I was taught as a kid, and I have been taught by personal experience. It's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to figure out evidence at hand and trying to sort everything out because my mind works by logic and by analyzing evidence. My mind just works by analyzing evidence. That's how my mind really just tries to function. Um, yeah, but I really do. I try to figure out. I try to make sense of things. I like I sass it. It doesn't make sense. It's not gonna make sense, but it's making sense out of things is pretty much the only way I keep from going insane. It's pretty much the only way I keep from just kind of like losing my mind. Right now I'm really hovering around the 40-pound mark. Stress is going down at work a little bit since I had a discussion with my manager. We came to more of an understanding of what was going on between us. There was miscommunication about what he wanted for me to do, and I was worried about being penalized from that. Vagabond, way to go, man, way to go. But I've been exercising. There's a piece of equipment over there that I use now. Helps with back muscles, so I see Vagabond. Well, good, good for you though. That's good. Um, I mean, you can go by BMI. Body fat percentage is probably better, a better judgment than BMI. But there is a free video course though, and I was going to take notes watching that. The American Radios. There's a, I think it's ARRL has a free course, free video course. You can just watch a bunch of videos, and I'll take notes on those. I'm not sure how much the exams are though. Okay. Well, I mean, Vagabond, one thing is you just have to consider some people are naturally a little bit bigger, some people are naturally a little bit smaller. Um, I think it's more of a range for healthy. You just have to figure out where in the healthy range you end up being. Huh. Yeah, but I could probably get fairly thin. It'll just take a long time. I'd have to give up a lot of stuff, but because I just put weight on like crazy, unfortunately. I just have to eat like very low, but I'm just used to eating when I'm stressed. So, yeah, staying active. That's how. That's a big part of losing weight, but probably the biggest part is the diet. You just have to. You have to. You have to find a balance between what you consume and what you burn. Um, I've noticed that restaurants they try to make you have deals to buy more food, and it's hard to pass up on those deals because you kind of save money for extra food, and yeah, that makes it hard. Hmm. Yeah, it's a little hard to do though because then my stress goes through the roof and I can't really function. That's the only problem. I really need to be able to function and what I'm doing though. That's the only problem. Um, I just have to take this transformation. Like I said, it's mental. Most of it's mental. I just have to get stronger. Honestly, if I get stronger mentally, I will be able to eat better. If I'm stressed. Yeah, but I mean, it's like it really is. I think this therapy. I mean, hopefully this therapy will help. Um, this counselor is certified in EMDR therapy, um, which is for people with PTSD. So, why do you say skull size matters? Yeah, sometimes I really need help though with that fighting though. Yeah, I mean, like I've actually had to call the police to come calm me down when I was upset. I've had to do that at least twice in my life. I've had to actually call the police to calm me down. Uh, Mental illness is really tough, but yeah, I guess you take one day at a time. Um, they keep looking out there expecting it to rain, but I'm just hoping it doesn't really rain so I can get some exercise into the gym thing out there. The guy who decked me the other night, I mean, even if they brought that person forward, I really don't think I could identify them. Um, I've been out of the canoe before at night, putting out turtle lines, and then um, the next morning I went out to go collect them, and yeah, it looks so different in the morning that I wouldn't be. I had no idea where to find the lines. So yeah, yeah. Go into an area that isn't like well paved and versus. All right, I'm gonna try and reconnect. How things at night look way different than things in the morning. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm back. Good. Okay, I'm back. It is difficult to self improve, yes. But I mean, the thing is, people who have uh done great things, who have succeeded in life, or done things that people say are great, is they'll tell you the same thing over and over again. It takes a lot of effort. And it really doesn't matter who you are. I mean, admittedly, some people are born having things really easily. I mean, if you're yeah, if you're born into a wealthy family, you grow up being trained in the correct way to you grow up in an environment where you're trained from being young and how to be successful. Um, so you have an advantage, but I mean, you still have to work. You do still have to work pretty hard. Now, admittedly, um, there are people who have to work even harder. Um, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna say I have to work the hardest of anyone because it's probably not true, but because I have a disability, I have to work harder than a lot of people, and I have been harassed in the workplace for having a disability. Because I have a disability, I was allowed to be bullied in the public education system, in the workplace. You know, I I'm because I wear costumes, I get obscene gestures done to me. So yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, I've actually been kicked out of groups. For instance, I have a Dakimakura, so that's something there. But I mean, really, life's tough for everyone. The main thing you have to do is learn to listen. It's the thing, like something I think of doing is look at crows for an example of like what to do in the sense of learning. Because if you look at crows, what crows do is they actually will learn from each other. Um, Crows congregate. I don't know if they really go in flocks or if they kind of go solo or as a mix. But if one crow sees another crow doing something that's productive, that actually kind of attains a goal, then the second crow will, um, start imitating that first crow, and then other crows will imitate those crows, and it just keeps growing. You got crows that basically every crows will learn from each other. Um, that's something I think we as humans should really do is learn from each other and understand that you know we as individuals are um, I mean, really, I don't know what to think. Knowing that I've been made fun of for having autism and having PTSD and my income and whatnot has really affected my confidence. So I don't really know. I don't really have much confidence in my ability to get a woman. You know, I really don't know. I mean, it's like I see women flirting with me, but it's like, I mean, really, yeah, I see women flirting with me, but I don't really have the confidence to say anything because of how much I've been made fun of for having autism and having PTSD. So it's kind of set me up for believing I'm going to be in an abusive relationship. That's my problem. There is talk for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which is on Saturdays, to be put into uh, the game store again. So that might happen. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on in my life. I mean, honestly, I do a lot of sticking to myself. Self isolation is a big thing for me. It's kind of hard for me to get out and socialize sometimes. I don't know if that's the autism or if that's the PTSD, but honestly, I do. Yeah, I really do just not socialize that much sometimes. Um, but I'm trying to think. I mean, we don't have the mask mandate anymore. Although individual businesses are free to enforce uh, a mask policy, like my job does enforce that for employees and customers. But yeah, individual companies can do that. Thank you, Torrance. But yeah, that's the way it is in the city right now where I am. You don't have to wear them in public. Um, and it's up to an individual business's discretion as to whether you wear the mask in a business or not, in that business or not. So, I mean, whether some businesses are, you know, appreciative if I wear the mask or not, I'm not sure. It may be individuals at that business that matter, but I mean, it really is up to the business, the individual business, as to whether or not they enforce it. I think actually, yeah, some what I guess you'd call them industries, but some business types still have to wear a mask, though. Some, I'm not sure, maybe restaurants and healthcare facilities, perhaps. Some employee businesses may require it, but like I've gone, I've been at some restaurants and customers didn't have to. So I don't know. It's just it's just what it's how it is in my city right now. Yeah, you know, I don't know what to say. I mean, I've been told you have to find your own happiness before you find another person, but I'm also thinking I need to find another person to feel like I can be validated. So, but it really is hard. I mean, it might be I need to increase the white matter in my brain just by realizing that needs to change. Casey, here's a little thing about biology, anatomy and physiology, human anatomy and physiology. Um, Actual intelligence in the way of being able, all the most of that ability is from white matter, which is the connections between neurons in the brain. It's the brain's ability to actually transmit information. And the more connections and stronger connections you have, the better you're able to process information. Well, the when you're young, you have an incredible amount of white matter. When you're born, you have an incredible amount of white matter, and that's probably why children learn so fast, because there are so many connections. And as you get older, the connections go away. The human body um, is basically designed for survival purposes to to use as few calories as possible. And in order to do that, it has to, take away things it's not necessary for survival. And not necessary for survival is basically anything it's not using day to day. So, like, that's why your muscles will go away if you don't exercise. It's because your body's saying, okay, you don't use this all the time for what you have to do to get food, for instance, or to keep moving to get food, or just to survive. So we're going to take away some muscles, because muscles take energy to just exist. So that's why your muscles will go away. Also, part of the reason why your bones become weaker when you don't exercise, it's because body's like, okay, the bones are heavier, and they take more calories to move. So we're going to lift some bone structures to save calories, so that when you do move, you consume fewer calories. Basically, the body is trying to become as efficient as possible for survival. That way, if there is a famine, it's more likely to survive it. Yeah, the only problem is it's like, how do I love myself when I've been taught for so long? I've been getting the message that I don't really have redeeming qualities. You know what I mean? I've been taught for so long that I have all these things that are negative about me, that I have so many negative things that I'm just my redeeming qualities don't make up for my negatives. You know what I mean? I'm a net negative instead that I'm a net negative. It's like no matter how good my personality is, my defects outweigh my positives. Um, I grew up being taught that, mostly in school. I was taught that in the workplace by a lot. So I mean, it's like, how do you change your programming? Because that's what I was taught. So it's like, how do I make sense out of all this? And a lot of things, people just expect me to believe. Well, I'm not going to necessarily just believe someone. That's where a lot of people don't get, why I'm not believing them, because they just expect me to believe them, and I'm not going to just believe someone at face value. That's just not me. I don't believe people at face value. I consider other factors. Does what they're saying make sense? Mm. But yeah, I mean, it really is a matter of, you know, it's like I'm getting this. I've got someone telling me one thing, and then I'm seeing my own eyes something else. It's like people. It's like, if you want to discuss something, I'm glad to discuss it, but people tend to just expect me to believe something when they say, and I just don't believe what I'm told necessarily, and it's probably because in the adult scenario, like in adult life, like right out of high school, what I was taught, what I seen firsthand, was completely contradictory from what I was taught as a child. So that kind of set me up to not believe what I was told, because obviously what I was told as a child ends up not being true. Um, it's like, I was told as a child people change in high school, and then yeah, I had to deal with people up into their 50s acting like high schoolers. Um, I was with a counselor during a session for help, and I told him about what these guys were doing, and he's like, "That's middle school behavior." You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you got guys in their 20s acting like middle schoolers. You got, and the reason why I say women a lot is because most of the people there were women. But you got women into their 50s acting like high schoolers. It's like, it's kind of like, how am I supposed to believe people change after high school when you got like this going on? You know what I mean? It's like, how do I like rectify these two opposites? Like, how am I supposed to believe what I was told by word of mouth versus over what I'm told, what I'm seeing with my own eyes? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of like, saying, the way I'd say it is, it's kind of like someone telling you by word of mouth, the sky is green. It's like you being inside your entire life. You're told the sky is green. Um, and then all of a sudden, when you're an adult, you get outside, and it's like, wait a second. You look up, the sky matches the color blue. And then people are like, no, it's green, it's green, it's green. It's like, how are you supposed to believe it's green when you see with your eyes it's the color blue? It's like that kind of thing. I know it's a bad analogy, but it's like it's kind of like that. It's like you see with your own eyes something that's not what people told you it was. So uh, I'm just trying to. I mean, I just want a healthy relationship. Like my mother was, even my mother, who was supposed to be like my protector, was abusive. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I mean, just like how do I really find someone who's supportive? I mean, it's like who's willing to accept that I have difficulties because like at the stage I'm at, I can't completely support myself. It's just not realistic. Um, I'm going to need help supporting myself just because that's how I am with my disability at the moment. I've come a long way with helping my with my disability, and I'm going to keep going further. Um, and I'm definitely going to get a lot better. Um, and I very well could get to the point where I do not need help supporting myself. I mean, that's almost a definite that I'm going to get to that point eventually. But I mean, I would just need to have someone who realizes these things that she's going to have to help me somewhat, and it's going to be difficult at times, and it's just I need someone to realize these things. Now, um, something that I grew up with is my mother likes to provoke me. She thinks she's helping me, but she like intentionally provoke me until I get angry. She thinks it's helping me because they'll teach me when I know when people are kidding, but the thing is, it's like she will try to kid me in ways that really you don't kid. It's like you don't. It's not appropriate to kid someone in certain ways. Kid, I say kid, like it's really provocation. She's intentionally pushing my buttons, and then, hey, thanks, Torrance, thanks. Oh yeah, I know what you mean, Torrance. It's like something I struggle with is like something I've really noticed is it's really hard to understand is it's okay. Let me organize my thoughts. People, it seems more prevalent in neurotypical people, but people often live in some hypocrisy and not realize it. And people like neurotypical people accept this hypocrisy and kind of get into this unawareness of this hypocrisy and kind of like don't really see it because they're so accustomed to it. And then we with autism see it because we're more logical. And it's like, wait, you're saying one thing and then it's supposed to be, and then acting in a completely different way. You know what I mean? It's like, it's because of you got someone that's logical seeing things literally, and then someone's being completely irrational and it's even completely contradictory to what they're saying. Like you've heard, it's like not good to gossip about people, and then you go to a party or even to like a family get together and you see people gossiping. It's like, wait, I thought gossip was bad. You just said gossip was bad, and now you're gossiping. It's like, okay, like, oh, wait, what's going on? You're trying to figure this out. It's not worrying about people being hypocrites. It's more like trying to learn how to behave in society. That's the thing. Um, it's trying to understand how to behave. It's not really worrying about people being hypocrites. It's more frustration, like trying to understand. Like, okay, wait, okay, so how am I supposed to act? It's like you tell me one thing and then you do something different. It's like what are you really trying to say? It's like how am I supposed to act? How am I supposed to behave? Because it's like a different culture. It kind of is. It's like I'm trying to adapt to a more neurotypical culture. It's like, and it's just the way it's just the way it is. I have to adapt to function society. It's just what I have to do. It's not fun. It's not easy. It's not like it's not how should I put it? It's not fun. It's not easy. It's not like optimal, but it's just what has to be done. It's just life. I mean, life's not optimal. The world's not all fun and games. So it's not cotton candy and pixie sticks. It's rough, and you will sometimes have to do things that are difficult. And things you just have to. Sometimes you have to suck up and do what sucks to, you know, function. I mean, what I'm thinking, um, it's kind of like people convince. A lot of times, people convince themselves their own reality. Um, it's like you've got. It's like there are different realities in a way. Different, I guess, interpretations would be. Um, I say realities from a more literal sense. Interpretations would be more what some people would say. Yeah, I could see that. I'm just saying the autism because it's what I'm experiencing as someone that's autism who is a native born citizen. That's why I'm saying it from my perspective. That's one reason I'm saying that. If you are foreign and living in a different country, you would be experiencing it from that way. So I'm just doing it from my perspective as some saying it's autism because that's the perspective I can relate to. But the way I'd say is, um, it's like I don't know if it's like a range. People can be blissfully unaware of their own faults. It's like there's an acceptable range. Like a lot of times, my oddities, I'll just joke around at work, and that kind of masks my strange behavior. Um, I joke around a lot, and that kind of masks my strange behavior because then people are like, "Hey, he's joking." That's a lot of people that have autism have found a way to cope by doing this. They have basically decided, we I should say, we have basically decided to joke around, and when we do act strange, a lot of the time people think it's more joking, so it's more acceptable because it's humor. Um, because I don't know, maybe it's because in the U.S. we've conditioned humor to outlandish behavior at times, like stand-up comedians. So Yeah, that could be partly why I do it because it does make me more fit in. Makes my eccentric behaviors more acceptable because it's like it's funny, joking about it, but it's I don't know what to say. It's hard to it really is hard to understand. For me, being autistic, it's hard for me to understand neurotypicals. I guess it's more of a range of what's acceptable and what's not. It's not like a simple, uh, finite. Like there are some things that are like this is unacceptable. This is acceptable. Like there are some things that are black and white. Like obviously there are some things like okay, I need to shower every day. That is like a requirement. I have to have basic hygiene. That's a requirement by society. I have to wear clothes when I go outside. That is black and white. I mean, there are some black and white things. Like I have to wear clothes when I go outside. I have to shower every day. There are some things that are black and white. Um, but then there are some things that are more gray as far as like what constitutes gossip and what does not. And we being autistic, it's hard for us to understand a lot of times what's like that gray area. Like, okay, it's like how far do I go without gossiping? Like how far can I go with it being acceptable? How do I blend in and make it so that I am taking part in conversations? It's like, yeah, there are some things that are black and white, some things that are gray. It's hard to figure out where the middle line is, honestly. I'd say an autistic person. That's what I would say. That's the autistic person. Hmm. But yeah, hopefully that therapy will start up. I keep checking my email, seeing if I get that paperwork sent to me, but another month and a half till I get into that therapy session. I mean, mm. But I mean, I really am trying to figure out like why it is I went through what it is. So it's like people tell me like it's like people tell me one thing, but I mean, in order for me to come to terms with what's happened in the past, really, I just need to understand why it happened. You know what I mean? If I can understand why I went through happened, I would be able to come to terms with it. That's what I mean. I honestly believe that if I could understand why it happened, I would come to terms with it. I'd be able to move past it, but I really need to work out why it happened. You know? Oh, therapy. It really depends on the therapist. Therapist. It really depends on your therapist how you work. You work with them. I mean, sometimes I feel safe talking about things. Sometimes I don't. It's really I don't know. It really is, it's tricky. It's a tricky subject. I don't know what to say. I find it interesting when people say they can like. I've heard people say, yeah, I can. They can. I'm textbook this and I'm textbook that. It's like I'm not. You have no idea what I've been through. Like I'll talk like these people online. Like they have no idea what I've been through when they say I'm textbook this or textbook that. I was like, yeah, you have no idea. Yeah, it really helps. I guess it's kind of like I need someone that has lived through similar situations as me to explain, like help me figure out like what's going on in my life. Someone who can explain like what's happened. My problem is you've got you've got someone that's neurotypical trying to explain to someone who's autistic in a neurotypical way, and it's just not gonna make sense, and that's the real problem. You can't really, so to speak, explain social a social rule to someone that's autistic in a neurotypical way unless it's a black and white matter. Like I said, like putting you have to be dressed when you go outside. There's no gray area with that. That's black and white. You know what I mean? I have to wear clothes when I go outside. That's black and white. I have to shower every day. That's black and white. That's it's stuff like that. There are some black and white rules. You know what I mean? It's like I give people their personal space. Like in almost every situation, that's a black and white rule. About the only situation where it's permitted to not give personal space is pretty much like if you have to like go past them real quick to get something, you say excuse me and move past them, or like in an emergency situation where like they need first aid, then you have to help them, or like they're about to someone's safety is at risk. You have to help them. But those are extreme situations, rare situations. But in normal situation, just being around people, you usually give them their personal space. A crowd sometimes is difficult, but when possible, you give them their personal space. That's pretty much a black and white matter. You know, there are some rules that are black and white. People say there's, I mean, when people say there's no gray matter to someone that's autistic, it's like no. Or people say there's no black and white matter. It's like yeah, there are some. It's like, do you take your medication? It's like yes, that's a black and white matter. I don't function very well without taking my medication. So whether or not I take my medication is a black and white matter. I have to take my medication. There are some things that are a clear yes or no question. It's like if I see someone get hurt, do I call for an ambulance? It's like, yes, that's a black and white matter. I mean, there are some. And if you tell that to someone that's autistic, it's like, yes, you don't do that. It's like you have to tell someone that's autistic there are some black and white matters and there are some gray matters. You have to say that. Mm. Uh, no, I'm not gonna do a collab with him. Because he's just gonna be making fun of me the entire collab. I mean, he makes fun. He's made fun of me before, so yeah, no, I'm not gonna do a collab where he just makes fun of me the entire time. Oh, real quick. What do you guys think? Um, yeah, like I say, I'm trying to get in contact with someone who does beats. So I just need to find beats I can use for profit. Okay. There is actually what do you call it? Trying to think. I was thinking of something, but yeah, um, yeah, I'll probably think of it later. Um, I'm actually going to probably. Oh yeah, now I remember. What do you guys think of me doing a video talking about my thoughts of the first episode of Demon Lord Omega? All right. All right. Oh. Favorite fast food place? Probably Taco Bell. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Uh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I actually did think once I get someone to record me actually exercising in the stormtrooper helmet. I did think about that. I'm probably getting this at in another 5 minutes when it gets to 11:30 here. That way I can maybe get some exercise in. But yeah, gonna get my. But yeah, do you guys really want me to? I mean, some people have said do anime reviews. What do you think of me doing a video on my thoughts of Demon Lord? How not to summon a Demon Lord Omega episode 1. Thanks. Thanks, Swiffer Duster. Hey. Okay. Uh, any other questions? I'm really interested in how tan I can get this summer. I don't know. Would anyone be interested in seeing me at a convention in Indianapolis? Because I may be going October 10th. It depends on whether or not Easter Seals are that's come to helps me. Will be able to get me a ride to the convention. It depends with COVID and everything, whether I can get there, but maybe going on the 10th of October. But yeah, gotta pick up a Google Play card to pay for that software. Yeah, I'll try to have a good day. I'm gonna. Looks like it's raining. It might be raining now, so I'm gonna see if I can try to get some exercise in. I don't know. What do you guys think of me playing Minecraft? Like recording of me playing Minecraft with people. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't think I really ever listened to DMX, but I wasn't really listening to rap then. You have to remember I was born in '90, so I wasn't really. That was kind of before my time with that music. So yeah, hopefully I can get that heritage test now. Okay. Well, I guess that's gonna be the live chat for now. Um, I'll probably do one tomorrow. Um, tomorrow afternoon. But yeah. All right. See you guys.